Welcome everyone to a brand new explainer. Today, we're taking a fascinating journey straight into the heart of Class 9th mathematics. We're setting the stage to completely master Chapter 13, Surface Areas and Volumes. If you've ever looked at a complex 3D object and wondered exactly how much space it takes up, or just how much material you'd literally need to wrap it perfectly, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to make this incredibly straightforward and honestly, a lot of fun.
To start us off, I want you to just imagine for a second that you're holding a solid cardboard box in one hand and a perfectly round baseball in the other. How do we actually measure the 3D space those objects take up? Well, in this explainer, we're going to use a highly structured visual set of formulas to calculate exactly that, the exact 3D space they occupy, which is their volume, and the 2D surfaces that completely cover their outsides. It's basically all about turning the physical world into beautifully neat math.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our clear roadmap for today. 1. Mastering 3D geometry. 2. Cubes and cuboids. 3. Cylinders and cones. 4. Spheres and hemispheres. And 5. The ultimate cheat sheet. Kicking things off with Section 1, Mastering 3D Geometry. We'll be breaking down Mr. Sonu Singh's master guide shape by shape. Before we get into the specific shapes, we really need to know what we're measuring, right? Throughout our upcoming source sheet, every single shape is categorized into 3 core measurements. First up is volume. This is the physical space inside the shape. Think of it like filling it with water. The volume is exactly how much water it holds. Second, we have the lateral or curved surface area. This measures just the sides, kind of like the paper label wrapped around a soup can, totally ignoring the top and bottom. And third is the total surface area, which literally measures absolutely every outer face combined. So as we go through the guide, you'll know exactly what to look for. Moving right along to Section 2, Cubes and Cuboids. This is our first category of flat-sided, box-like shapes. Looking at our master cheat sheet, let's focus right on the top right. Here we've got a classic rectangular 3D box, which we call a cuboid. Notice how it's defined by 3 distinct dimensions? The solid top line shows the length L, the side shows the breadth B, and those dashed vertical lines, that's the height, H. And right directly below that, we have a much simpler shape, the square cube, where all the sides are exactly the same. Let's break down the math for that cuboid first. So for the cuboid, we're working with length L, breadths B, and height H. To find the space inside, the volume is simply L times B times H. Pretty easy, right? Now, for the total surface area, that entire outside wrapping, it's 2 times the sum of L times B plus B times H plus H times L. Why? Well, because a cuboid has 6 rectangular faces, and they operate in 3 identical pairs. The lateral surface area, which is really just the 4 walls without the floor and ceiling, is 2H multiplied by the sum of L and B. And finally, that diagonal stretching all the way across the inside of the box, that is the square root of L squared plus B squared plus H squared. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how simplifying the physical shape drastically simplifies the math variables. A cuboid forces us to juggle 3 different measurements: length, breadth, and height. But a cube, because every single side is a perfect square, a cube requires only one single measurement to define its entire 3D existence, the edge, which we're going to call A. Look at the sheer elegance of the cube's math based entirely on that single edge A. The volume shrinks down to just A cubed. The lateral surface area, those 4 sidewalls, is simply 4A squared. And the total surface area is wonderfully clean, 6A squared. Just remember that a cube has exactly 6 identical square faces, and the area of just one face is A squared, so it makes total sense. Finally, the diagonal simplifies beautifully to A times the square root of 3. Let's slide on down to Section 3, Cylinders and Cones. We're shifting from flat boxes to shapes with circular bases now. Next up on the guide, we find 2 incredibly common real-world shapes. First up is the cylinder, drawn just like a classic soup can. You'll see it has a dashed vertical line right down the middle for its height H, and at the bottom, a circular base with a radius R. Directly below that is the cone. It basically resembles a flat triangle resting on top of a circular base, sharing that exact same concept of height H and base radius R, but of course, coming to a sharp point at the top. Let's look really closely at the cylinder's formulas. Notice how they rely entirely on the circular radius R and that straight vertical height H. The volume formula is elegant, pi r squared H. Basically, you take the area of the circular base, which is pi r squared, and just multiply it straight up by the height.
The curved surface area, again, just the label on the soup can, is 2 pi rh, and the total surface area, which brings back the flat circular top and bottom, becomes 2 pi multiplied by the sum of r and h.
And this brilliantly illustrates one of the absolutely coolest relationships in geometry. Look at the volume of the cylinder, pi r squared h. Now look at the volume of the cone, 1/3 pi r squared h. Yep, it is exactly 1/3 the volume of a cylinder that shares the exact same base and height. Seriously, if you had a hollow cone and a hollow cylinder with the same radius and height, you could empty that cone full of water into the cylinder exactly 3 times to fill it perfectly. How cool is that? Expanding on the cone, we see a totally new variable introduced, L, the slant height. This isn't the straight vertical height, but the angled distance along the side from the tip all the way down to the base edge. Because of this, the curved surface area is pi rl. The total surface area adds the circular base back in, giving us pi multiplied by the sum of L and R. And you might be wondering, how do we find that slant height L if we only know the regular height and radius? We use the trusty Pythagorean theorem. The slant height L is simply the square root of h squared plus r squared.
All right, arriving at our final shape category. Section 4, spheres and hemispheres. Perfectly round 3D objects.
For our final shapes, the top drawing is a sphere, a perfect ball, with a little line across its equator denoting the radius r. There are no flat sides here, no straight heights, just pure continuous curvature dictated entirely by that single radius measurement. Below it is the hemisphere, which is, well, exactly what it sounds like. A perfect sphere cut exactly in half, just like a mixing bowl resting perfectly flat on your kitchen counter. The math for the sphere is just brilliantly self-contained. The volume is exactly 4/3 pi r cubed. And take a look at the surface area. Because a sphere has absolutely no flat edges or separate bases, there is literally no separate lateral or curved area. There's just one continuous outer shell, so the total surface area is simply 4 pi r squared. If you ever need to completely wrap a perfect sphere, that is exactly how much paper you're going to need. When we compare the volume of the full sphere to the hemisphere, there is a wonderfully clear, logical fraction shift. The sphere's volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. By slicing the shape cleanly in half, the math reflects that physical action perfectly. It simply changes the 4 in the numerator to a 2. So the hemisphere's volume is exactly half, 2/3 pi r cubed. So the crucial point is understanding what happens to the surface area when you actually cut that sphere in half. The curved surface area, the bowl part, is exactly half the full sphere's surface area, giving us 2 pi r squared. But remember, unlike a full continuous sphere, a hemisphere now has a flat circular top exposed by the cut. So for the total surface area, we have to add the area of that flat top circle, which is pi r squared, to the curved part. That makes the total surface area of a hemisphere exactly 3 pi r squared. And that brings us to Section 5, the ultimate cheat sheet. Let's wrap up this explainer by bringing all these categorized formulas together. Looking back at this complete document prepared by Mr. Sonu Singh, we have successfully mapped this entire Class 9th Master Guide from top to bottom. We've journeyed from the flat, straight edges of cuboids and cubes, down through the circular bases of cylinders and cones, all the way to the perfectly continuous curves of spheres and hemispheres. We've literally visually decoded the rules of 3D space together, transforming seemingly complex physical shapes into highly organized, reliable math. And I'll leave you with this final thought. The physical world around you is really just a massive collection of these exact shapes. Your room? It's a cuboid. Your coffee mug? A cylinder. A basketball is a perfect sphere. With these volume and surface area formulas now securely in your back pocket, what real-world 3D objects will you measure next? Take a look around your room and apply the structured math to the physical world. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep visualizing the math, and I'll catch you in the next one.